Hi, welcome to Connexion. My name is Bilitis and I'm pleased to be your host today on Connexion. Well, if you're new to Connexion, what to expect? You should expect really to meet individuals who are here to make a difference to their life and to the life of others as well. And today is going to be a bit more special format where it's going to be even more interactive with one another because today I'm very pleased to introduce you to someone I can call for myself like an inspiration, and that is Mr. Jaineel Mistry. Mr. Jaineel Mistry is my own coach, and as well, he's a founder of Thriving Scholar, a hub for human transformation, a leadership coaching and training company where they use a mixture of transformative coaching, evidence-based science, and philosophy to help members lead life at work and home from within. And Jaineel has coached numerous leaders and executives in the workforce, including senior managers to senior medics, startups, powerful parents, and many entrepreneurs, from those who have scaled to millions of pounds to those launching their first idea. Please welcome Mr. Jaineel Mistry. Hey, Jaineel, so great to have you here.
So humbled by your introduction, and it's so great to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, that sounded like I'm way more successful than I feel sometimes.
You're most welcome. You're the one who shared with me on our last group coaching call, where we're the butterfly and butterfly don't see their own wings.
Yeah. I love that. I learned that from one of my mentors when I was training in Croatia, and that's quite profound. So yeah, no, and also what you're doing with this connection, I love the message and what you're doing. So amazing. Congrats to you.
Thank you so much, Jaineel. And yeah, I'm very excited that you are on board as well on Connexion. To the audience, we're gonna make sure still we gonna keep a timing, because we know that the two of us, we can talk for hours. So so like Jaineel, tell us more about yourself. Like where are you coming from? What's your background, and how did you arrive to where you are now?
Yeah, so I guess cutting a long story, a summarized version is, I live in London. I'm married and I have a little puppy called Nala. And I studied and trained to become a pharmacist. And so I graduated to become a pharmacist and went straight into the corporate world, where I was in kind of strategy consulting within the pharmaceutical industry. So I was doing a lot of commercial strategy consulting, and I was living a very much corporate life for around 4 years till about 2017. And so yeah, on that journey, I realized actually this isn't the right path for me. I wasn't really and truly leading from within, as we would call it, and there was more to me which I wanted to bring out into the world. And then I started my kind of journey into personal growth, human development, and here I am, now having coached over the last 2.5 years, and on the journey, continuing on the journey of coaching and developing the company. So yeah, that's my journey.
Yes, and as well, what I like about your journey, if you want to mention as well this part where actually for you self-growth started as your blog, isn't it?
Yeah, I was in a position where I used to come back home from work in London, and I used to sit there in the evening, and I had a practice for about 2 or 3 weeks, where I sit down in the evening when I was feeling really lost and confused as to what direction I want to take my life, and what is it I'm here to really do. And it occurred to me, I asked myself the question: if I had a year to live, what would I create in the world? And after kind of contemplating on that, one evening when I was having my green tea in the evening, an insight came to me. I was slowing down, and insight came. What you can do is just create a blog. And, that next weekend, I went to the library at that time, and I just sat down and created a blog called Thriving Scholar. And so that's whatever I was learning in that time in kind of personal development and entrepreneurship at the time was a lot of my focus. I was just sharing in a blog format online, and that's where my kind of journey began, really.
Yes, and I love it because you managed to transform your side passion into your main activity right now.
Yeah.
And I still remember, when we do our sessions, and you see me, like you could see me that I was sometimes impatient with having results, and you were always keep trying to remind me where you started. Like, you were telling me about the first group you started, and
Yeah.
and and now where you are. Like, there is a huge gap in terms of pricing, but you started at one stage to gain practice.
Yeah, and even when I create the blog, I was just doing it because it fed me energy. I didn't know where it was going to lead me, but I knew that I just had to follow my intuition. I had to follow that inner guidance, and it was saying just to follow this path. It's going to lead you somewhere, and I didn't know where it's going to lead me, and that was okay for me. I just needed to do something along this path because it was filling me with joy and fulfillment. And yeah, then I really started. Then I came across coaching. I didn't even know what coaching was, and I realized, well, actually, there's something which I could be really good at and get paid for, and make this my profession. And that's when my journey began in 2018, when I first the group coaching that you mentioned just now was when I created that in July 2018 as a very small thing for me to experiment with, and now it's obviously grown in the last 2 years, 2.5 years. So, yeah, but yeah, patience is everything, especially for ambitious people like people who are watching this online, and people like you, and me. We're ambitious people. We're determined, and we want to make things happen. So patience.
Yes, patience, and as well as we talked about it again on last Monday about like experimenting. That for you, your first 2 years was really about experimenting what you like, or what would work, what does interest as well your audience, your potential clients, and that it's only after trying so much that you're able to gain clarity now on where you want to expand.
Yeah, I think experimentation is a mindset as well. I believe it's you need to have an experimenter's mindset, or many times in life. Even people who, especially if you have your own business, there's always new things that you're going to try out and test and see what works. The marketplace is changing, the world is changing. It's always have to adapt, and experimenter's mindset is one which I constantly have. So yeah, like, and I see you have the same as well, and that really requires courage as well. So yeah.
Yes, courage, which is like cultivated, if we say that, day after day, experience after experience. And well, if I was sharing about my self-growth journey on my side, like how I got into it, is that in 2008, back then it was the success of the book The Secret, and my mother was a bit interested on the topic. She got the book, and actually it ended up on my hands, and I read it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and it was a total new word for me. I was 17 years old, and so once I started to read The Secret, I get open to other authors, and then read some more. Then the documentary went out, watch once, twice, 3 times, 10 times, and interestingly enough is that it's now with time the Secret was actually welcomed a bit like positively and negatively, because for some it was not enough. It was not enough information on it to prove it, but still I think when you're a beginner for self-growth, it's a great door opener to, as a beginning, to start and then continue if you're interested on it. And actually the second date as well that was important to me was, as well, same as you, was 2018, because 2008 I got into it, very interested, get to learn and more into optimism, present moments, and get to understand more about the power of our subconscious with Dr. Joseph Murphy. But
Yeah.
then I started to work and study in hospitality management. And so this habit of reading and learning so much about it got
Mm.
put aside to a point where I was not reading that much about the topic. And it's in 2018 that I decided to stop what I was doing because I was almost getting to burnout, and I
Mm.
decided to go for traveling for 3 months in backpack from
Yeah.
Europe, Asia to Australia. And it is there that with me on my backpack, I had a book of Dr. Joy Dispenza,
Mm.
and this was my time to reconnect with self growth.
Wow.
So for me, 2018 is the second rebirth of self growth, and this time is for life.
Wow.
I'm saying it as a commitment, like this. Everyone knows about it, and this time I know it's something I don't want that it quit myself, and it's there.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. And yeah, I really believe that, the first time it's, there's a time when things click and when they're
Mm.
meant to click. And, you mentioned that, when the time that you had Dr. Joe Dispenza's book and you're traveling, that was the right time for you, isn't it? Um, yeah. And your journey since then is, yeah, how amazing.
Yeah, it was really 2018 for me was a reconnection, like
Yeah. I love that.
to the essence, like a reconnection to myself.
Yeah.
And actually, Jaineel, who inspires you? Like, do you have any 2 to 3 authors? Like for me, I had difficulty to make choice,
Yeah.
so I'm sure you, maybe for you too.
Wow. What a question.
Yes,
um,
I know. Yeah, it's something you get to
yeah.
think about it a little bit.
Yeah. I
Because
think,
as you can see, everyone, sorry,
yeah.
as you can see, everyone, Jaineel loves book, and so the library is full behind. So now to make a choice is a tricky question.
Yeah. I think, the first person, and this is not coming from a place of ego, but the first
Hmm.
person who inspires me is the future version I have of myself.
Ah,
And
yes.
so I'm always trying to use others as inspiration, but really when the more I tap into my own self and really learn more about me, my true self, and vision that out in the form and in the future, that's the kind of, and that's never, I'm never going to meet that person, I'm never going to be that person. There's always a more, right? But that's what I would say in terms of when it comes down to really inspiring. Like, I have to have a vision for myself that's inspiring than anything else, because it gets me up in the morning and makes me want to become a better person. But when it comes down to books and authors, um, there's a few people that I can mention now, but um, what comes to mind is one person called Steve Chandler, um, who is a great coach based in the US. And his books, he's written many 30, 40 books or so. His books have been really inspiring. His journey is inspiring. He's someone who changed his life at the age of 40 or 50 years old, coming from chronic alcoholism and depression. And he's a powerful coach and mentor to me. Um, that's one person that really comes to mind. There are many people, many authors who I'm inspired by, but I'd say Steve Chandler with his books, they're so transformational for me that I really, it comes to mind. He comes to mind right now.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. And
You
yeah,
asked for two or three, but I've given you one.
no, but the thing is, the one you've given is it weight already so much because, as you mentioned, already 30 to 40 books written, and indeed you have shared with me some of his work, and it's, yeah, what I like about Steve Chandler is that he's really straight to the point, and it's very in a short format he's able to give so much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially when it
And
comes down to authors, his books. I mean, his books are really nice to read, and they're really trying. Like, I can't read more than like 10, 20 pages at a time with his books. Like, it really, something happens within me. Like, it's really speaking to me at a deeper level. I can't speed read his books. Like, I have to really sit down and read them properly. So there's some deeper transformation happening within me just by
mm,
reading the book. And so his way of writing, I would love, if I could write like that, half of what he can write, I'd live a pretty inspiring life.
You get there, Jaineel, by take your notebook, continue to write.
Yeah.
You get there, and sharing. And but I believe it is Steve Chandler's sentence, the one you keep saying every 5 minutes to us about slowing down to speed up.
Yeah,
Is it his line or?
I'm not sure whose line that is. I think
Uh,
there's people who use that, but he's definitely one who has from his books has taught me, and his coaching to some degree has taught me to what it means to slow down in life. So yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing, and yes, it gives great perspective as well to think that we can be our own inspiration, like the person we want to be. um, and as we were talking about it again on Monday during our session, I was asking yourself, like, but how come you were mentioning in one post that what's going to happen in 2023 for you? And because I thought about the doing, I thought about the business, and actually you were like, no, but I'm talking about how I want to show up, who do I want to be. About the business will come what will come in 2023, but what you were sure of is who you wanted to be, how you wanted to show up in the world, in your personal sphere, professional sphere. And this is a different approach as well of setting yourself goals of doing, and instead setting yourself goals of being.
Yeah, and because ultimately that's, arguably we can choose who we want to be. And yes, some may argue that there's only one version of our higher self, and we have to live in alignment with that. But we can control how we are showing up in the world, who we are being. I can visualize myself in 2-3 years time and think, okay, what qualities do I embody? How what kind of energy do I have, etc. But with the business or with anything else external, like, I don't know how things are going to be like. I can have an idea, but it's out of my control to some degree. And even when it comes down to goals, you mentioned goals there. Like, one thing I learned from Rich Litvin, another great coach, I was part of his training. I can't remember when I heard him say this, but goals. It's great to set goals. I set goals, and I'm sure many of your viewers set goals. But the great thing with goals is where people get caught up is where I used to get caught up a lot is, oh my God, like, I need to achieve this goal to then be happy, secure, fulfilled, or whatever. But what about if we set this goal, and rather than making it external, be like, okay, cool, how do I need to show up? Like, make a goal a place to come from rather than a place to get to. And most, what I see a lot is a lot of people, and I used to do this, I used to set goals as a place to get to. But actually what I learned in the last few years is actually, what about if I create this goal and made it like a place to come from? Like, where do I need to come from? Who do I need to be in order to achieve this kind of goal? And that's when it comes down to the being, and we can control fully that.
Yeah, and actually, if we translate it in a different language, is like, in which frequency should I show up?
Yeah, 100%.
Should I be more like daring, or like should I be more like sharing what I'm doing, more of service to others?
Yeah, it's like if one person had a goal to run 10 kilometers, and then another person had a goal to do an Ironman race, they would show up very differently. And the way they eat, the way they train, the way, all the other stuff, the way they set time aside to train, all that stuff, because it's more about the way they're showing up. So someone who's running 10K and someone who's doing an Ironman race, they show up very different. Same. And so, yeah, hope that provides some kind of analogy.
Yes, definitely. And actually, to bounce back as well on the books, well, on my side as well, I had difficulty to select books, but what I realized is that the books that I I want to share more about. They are actually linked to all the same topic. Because one of the books that I read at the beginning of the year was from Brandon Burchard, High Performance Habits.
Yeah.
And right now I'm reading like Limitless from Jim Quick.
Yeah.
And as well, another author that really marked me, of course, is Robin Sharma.
Yeah.
Because of having been able to see him live and really like go deep into his work. And the three authors, it's the three things that keep coming up is about like managing your energy level, and managing as well, like it all comes to your performance, your energy level, the time you set aside for yourself, and okay, I can cut this part. It's okay. My point was to say, yes, cool. So the three books, like, they touch on energy, mindset, and purpose. And so, you know, when you see from this different perspective that the same thing is coming over and over, is that there is something there to go deeper into it. And like about how to, do you know what you want to do, like what is your mission, and then because you know your mission, you're gonna work harder on it and work on your mindset, and as well protect your energy, including, for example, your sleep. And at the same time, your purpose is generating energy. And so yes, I really like the idea of the three.
I love that: purpose, mindset, energy, and everything, you know, really. I mean, I guess people can call it different things, but it really does come down to what you've said there. I completely agree with you.
How did like self-growth impacted you on your life, and being coach as well, receiving coaching?
So self-growth, I mean, my journey of personal development, if you want to call it, started off very much in the reading kind of business entrepreneurial books, you know, books like Think and Grow Rich and those kind of books. And the more I read similar kind of books, the more it was leading me inwards. You know, one of the books at a perfect time I read it, it was pretty powerful for me at the time when I read it. You know, Robin Sharma's The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, one of my favorite books of his. And reading books like that, it was all leading me inwards, like on a more spiritual path, rather than just business. And so the way it impacted my life is, you know, very early on in my journey, it just kind of helped me realize who I really am. It was more of a self-discovery journey, a journey of, you know, living true to myself. And you know, as time goes on, and you know, I continue to read, but what's really changed things for me, because at that time I was having a lot of, reading a lot of information. Is, especially when you first get into personal development, it's an endless journey, right? And you can get very overwhelming. And what changed for me is when I decided to go into coaching, not even go into coaching, when I decided to get coached, hire coaches, or and I was parts of group coaching programs, or I hired a one-to-one coach, and I got into it more, and I'm still am getting coached. That really allows me to live life more exponentially, rather than, just because reading a book is helpful, but it's like information versus transformation. Coaching for me has been transformational. It's been actually applying all this stuff in my life. It's allowed me to become someone who's better in business, someone who's able to build more powerful relationships, build the right mindset, learn more about myself, reduce. Even recently with my current one-to-one coach, I've been letting go of my ego more and be really coming from a place of love in everything which I do. And so, yeah, it's, for me, it's just been a journey of exponential growth, and bringing out more of who I really am in the world. And obviously, the more we tap into that, the more we can bring out our true selves out in the world. Naturally, we're living in alignment with ourselves, and we attract people. We attract opportunities, business opportunities, careers, jobs, engagements, because we're now radiating at a different frequency, playing a higher game. So, yeah, that's what it's done for me. I'm not sure if I've done that answer justice, because I don't think words can really describe it as well. But hopefully, it's given some snapshot.
Yes, and actually, yeah, like what you were sharing does as well join about my experience on my self-growth journey and on being coached. Like, the first thing that self-growth did to me is to raise my awareness. And as well, it has allowed me to be aware, and so to understand the power of my mind and how it can trick me, and at the same time how I can reprogram it to who I want to show up. And it did as well improve my health choices, my relationship in terms of how I want to show up, how I want to invest my time with which tribe, which people, like to be surrounded as well with people who are supporting myself, happy as well about my success, and as well that are like, giving positive criticism, and who are encouraging you, and at the same time that you can as well encourage, support, and continue growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it did as well, like, helped me as well to be more to use more my creativity, to increase my self-esteem, and to show up more as a leader. And as well to be more open and spot opportunities to serve. And as per being coached myself by you, Jaineel, what I gain is really like it gave me the impact to reframe. I was sharing something with you, and you were like, asking me like, do you think it's true? Or even like kind of, you won't say anything, and then like I would be thinking, okay, that's, in English we would say BS. It's like, so yeah. And so then it's kind of, when we share with the coach, is like, by sharing we realize the reaction of the coach, and then actually we are taking back our power of the beliefs that we thought we had. And so it really allowed to gain more clarity. By being coached, you're able to gain more clarity on really what matters, what does not, and insight. And the favorite line that you shared, and I really like it very much because it resonates, is like, really like, once you stop to behave like you should, I'm gonna redo it, and I'm gonna erase that.
Right.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so and the favorite line is like, yeah, when we stop to act as we think we should be, we start by being our real self.
Yeah, yeah, love that. Yeah, yeah, that's so much with this. Yeah, and again, that's so much wisdom in that. I mean, I learned that from somewhere. I can't remember where it's from, but there's so much wisdom in that. And you know what you've mentioned there about coaching. You know, I believe, and as you mentioned, it's a space where you're able to really find clarity on what, like, on your own thinking. It's a sacred space. I really see coaching as something that's a spiritual kind of sacred space where you know, the kind of magic happens in that space, and you're open to receiving insights. And you know what I really respect about you, Bilitis, is you're someone who's open to coaching. Because coaching isn't for everyone. It's not something that people need. It's something, you know, whether people want it, and you're really open to kind of having conversations and able to kind of look in the mirror and kind of just and have fun with it and play with it, right? And it's not a serious. And so sometimes it can be serious, but you know, the more fun we have with it, the more we can, as you said, we spot our own BS, and then we're able to laugh with it, because actually it's funny, because we thought we were not possible. It wasn't possible to do one thing, but really our true self is infinitely creative, and it's only that our minds can stop us. And you know, I really respect that about you, because you and you know, you show up as someone who is you know, open to this, a true leader, and is able to kind of take things, you know, that we discuss in our coaching conversation on board. So yeah, I really respect you for that.
Thank you, Jenny, for sharing. And yes, and it really makes a difference when, you know, part of your dream team, you have someone who, you know, who you can trust, and who, that is one thing that as well coaching is teaching me, is that when you have a coach, he, as you do as well, Jenny, it's like you don't, it doesn't matter if it's gonna, like, if it's gonna, how to say, if it doesn't matter if it hurt my feeling, but if it's the harsh truth that I have to hear, you are there to show up and tell me. And this does definitely impact as well the way I coach with my clients and I always make sure that if I have to show up and say something for my client to see more clearly, to do it, no matter if he's gonna hate me or no, but I know that if it's gonna help him and get open eyes, well, we have to dare to be and show up as well, because that is why actually the Coachee is as well hiring us, is to open the eyes on things that he doesn't want to see or he doesn't see.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you're someone who coaches, you know, already successful people who are already successful in their businesses and in their careers, and you know, people who may sometimes not have others in their life really showing them the truth, or because most successful people are being pleased all the time by their colleagues, staff, you know, people around them. And and it's again another Steve Chandler distinction, you know, as we talk about a lot, is serving versus pleasing. And so and you're someone who is able to be a leader for your clients, you know, because I mean, what coaching really is, it's just it's a tool, it's not a title. It's what coaching really is leadership, right? And in conversations with your clients, you're showing up as a leader and serving them, so they can then be better leaders in their home life, in their work life, you know. And so that's why they hire you, and obviously they see the return on their investment, because you know, they see the power of coaching, and they hire people like you to really to elevate their game and to create a better life and create a better business and create a better way of living. And so yeah, coaching is leadership, and you're a great leader.
Thank you. Same. I have a great teacher. And actually, what would be one practice or question that you would like to share with the audience that helps you a lot? Maybe it's a question that you keep going back to.
Wow. A question which I ask myself?
Yes, for example, a practice or a question.
You know, there's many questions that that I ask myself, but I'm going to share two that 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 has been quite prominent for me this year. Number one is, if I was more bold and fearless in life, what would I now do? And so if I was more bold and fearless in the way that I show up, what would I now do? And most of the time it's being acting more courageously and creating something which I may be scared to be doing, or having a conversation which I'm scared to have. Like, so that's one question. One thing I've been really focused on at the moment is, how can I bring 1% more love into my life daily? And when I, 1% more love. And so what I mean by that is, how can I, in every interaction that I have, whether it be professional, whether it be with clients, whether it be people that I'm even supporting me with my business in terms of vendors, or whether it be family, anything, and whether it be even me typing something, an email, how can I bring in 1% more love into this interaction? And that is really, that's one thing I'm really focused on right now. So that's a question which I ask myself, because it's very easy to keep on running around life and being hectic and writing this email, this conversation, and it's again, from slowing down and actually just really appreciating sharing more love in this conversation or whatever, that can change my whole experience of that interaction as well as the outcome.
Yes, and I love this question, because actually it all goes to bringing higher awareness to right now.
Yeah.
And actually, like, about sharing my practices as well, or question, it's similar to be present, like, because what I was going to share is about, yes, the first thing I made sure when I started my self-growth journey was about bringing my attitude, and this one is always with me, and it goes with, how can you show up to be more bold, or how can you show 1% more love?
Yeah, I love that.
And because actually our power is here right now, in the now, because it's building our tomorrow.
100%. Yeah, love that.
Yeah, and we more often we underestimate actually this half an hour which passed, if we made something out of it or no.
Yeah.
And as well, another question I wanted to share with the audience is like, well, this one is from Brendan Burchard, and it's like, who needs me at my A game today? Because this really makes it easier to understand where am I needed to serve, who needs me right now, and it gives as well your intention, and how you want to show up for this person. What do you need to do to show up for this person?
Yeah. That again brings so much more awareness and energy to that moment. Love that. A great question.
And the last thing I would share on my side is about as well, still on awareness, is really taking the time in the morning. I love this one to, once, like at night, you have planned your next day. Well, in the morning, simply to close our eyes for a couple of minutes and see ourselves going through our day and how we want to show up. It's like the A game for one event, but this one is for your full day.
Wow. Yeah.
And this one is really powerful. And if your day is really packed, it's quite good tip to do it twice, like in the morning and then after lunch for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of it, setting your intentions as well as kind of visualizing it beforehand.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, Jaineel, how do we do if we want to connect further with your world? Where do we find you?
How do you connect me? So I'm on pretty much active on social media, Jaineel Mistry, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or thrivingscholar.com. The site is currently being rebranded, but should be active again. Otherwise, you can email me at Jaineel@thrivingscholar.com. That'll also work. Or ask Bilitis.
Yes. Yes, totally. You can ask me, and I will connect you with Mr. Jaineel Mistry with pleasure. And again, Jaineel, thank you so much for taking the time to show up on Connection and sharing your journey with us. I think it can only inspire more, like right now, in becoming leaders, to show up and as well maybe continue or start even more seriously their work in self-growth. And so thank you again. And for everyone, well, if you like this episode, give it a like, and as well share it around you. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and we are looking forward to see you for another Connection episode.
Thanks, Bilitis. Thanks for having me.
You're most welcome, and let's live in music.
Nice.
Thank you, everyone. This was your 20th episode of Connection. Everyone matters. Wow. Again, we get to learn from one more inspiring man who still got a lot to share with us. And go ahead, follow him on Instagram, Facebook. Jaineel Mistry is everywhere and soon in your mailbox. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.